You know that feeling, right? That awful sharp, just totally distracting irritation when something tiny gets in your eye.
Oh, yeah. Instantly stops you. And that little speck feels like a boulder.
Totally. All you want is it out now.
Oh.
And, well, that feeling is kind of our starting point for this deep dive. We got these really fascinating notes from a listener.
Yeah, they shared this story about a very specific way their family has dealt with this for, like, generations.
Exactly. It starts with this really vivid memory from their childhood. They were at their grandmother's place in the village.
Right, and there was this huge fig tree, a higueron, the notes called it. Apparently, it was massive, kind of overgrown with ivy.
A bit of a problem tree, actually. The grandmother was worried about it, thought it might even fall in the house.
So this listener who was, what, under 12 at the time?
Yeah, under 12, decided to take charge, got some tools, and climb it up this nearly vertical stone wall. The notes say, like a cat, to start cutting this thing down.
Okay, that's ambitious for a kid. And predictably.
Predictably. While cutting, sawdust, maybe a bit of wood chip, flew right into their eye.
Ouch. Instant panic, I bet.
You got it. Called for their grandmother, who then talked them through what to do.
Yeah.
And the source says the relief was, well, miraculous.
Miraculous. Okay. So our mission today is really to unpack that specific method, the one passed down, the one that gave that miraculous result.
So what did the grandmother actually say to do? What's the method?
Well, according to these notes, the very first thing is just basic hygiene, which makes sense.
Right. Wash your hands.
Yep.
Wash your hands really well. You don't want to add more dirt. And wash your face, too, just to be safe.
Good start. Sensible. Then what? It gets a bit more hands-on, I gather.
It does. The notes say you use 2 fingers, near the eye obviously, to sort of gently pull it open just a tiny bit.
Okay.
And the key thing here, according to the source, is you grab the eyelashes of the upper eyelid with those fingers.
The upper ones, got it. And you gently pull that upper lid outwards. Or maybe forwards is a better word. Just enough so there's a little gap between the eyelid and the eyeball itself.
Ah, okay. So you're literally creating a bit of space there.
Exactly. You're making space. Because that space is needed for the next step, which is pretty unique based on this source.
Okay, I'm listening.
You use fingers from your other hand, and you take one finger and gently push the lower eyelid up. Up, and slightly under that upper eyelid that you're holding out.
Wait, hold on. You push the lower lid under the upper lid? That sounds odd. Maybe uncomfortable.
It does sound a bit strange, yeah. But the source explains the idea behind it. Once you've got that lower lid tucked into the gap under the upper one, you then kind of make an effort to close your eye quite forcefully while still holding the lower lid there.
Forcefully close it, with the lid tucked under.
Yeah. And the idea, as the notes describe it, is that the lower eyelid, because it's now sort of pressed against the inside of the upper lid, it acts like a kind of soft brush. It sweeps across the surface as you close your eye, hopefully catching the particle.
Ah, I see. So the lower lid does the cleaning work on the inside of the upper lid, in that little gap you made.
That's the theory presented in the source. It's like it's sweeping the inner surface.
Okay. And does it usually work first time?
The notes claim, yeah, usually one go is enough. The particle should just come out.
But if it doesn't, you just try again.
Yep. The source says you can repeat the whole thing, pull the upper lid out, tuck the lower lid under, close forcefully.
Okay.
And then, once you think it's out, or maybe you feel it's moved, you gently rub the outside of the eye with a clean finger.
Right. Just a gentle rub on the outside.
Uh-huh. The source says that helps get rid of the particle if it's now just sitting between the lids or near the corner.
So what about how well this works? The source made some pretty big claims, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. The notes describe it as the most efficient, fastest, and most effective method.
Those are strong words.
Very. It insists this method saves a lot of pain and stops things getting worse. Like, it specifically points out that leaving even a tiny particle in there can scratch the eye really quickly.
Which leads to more pain, obviously.
Exactly. So the claim is this method gets it out fast, potentially saving you a trip to the doctor and avoiding, quote, a lot of pain and suffering.
So it's positioned as being highly preventative in that sense.
Yeah.
Did the notes mention anything about, avoiding getting stuff in your eye in the first place?
They did. Basic practical stuff. Wear glasses was the main one.
Makes sense.
Especially, yeah, if you're cycling, on a motorbike, or even in a car sometimes with the window down. Anything where wind can blow debris around.
Or using tools, I guess.
Yeah.
like in the original story.
Absolutely. Using machinery, anything that kicks up dust or particles. Basically, wear eye protection if stuff might fly at your face. Common sense, but worth repeating.
It really is quite something, though. This very detailed, specific technique coming straight from a childhood memory and family tradition, and presented in the source as this incredibly powerful fix. It definitely gives you a different perspective on tackling such a common, annoying problem.
It really does. Understanding this approach, knowing it comes from generations of, well, lived experience, it adds another potential tool to your mental toolkit, doesn't it?
For sure.
And it kind of prompts a wider thought, maybe for you listening. How much weight do we, or should we, give to this kind of practical inherited wisdom for everyday problems? When might that hands-on, passed down knowledge offer something genuinely useful that maybe more conventional advice doesn't capture quite as well?
That's definitely something interesting to think about. When does that family know-how really shine?